Welcome. I am Claudia Clars, and this is the Oria document. The Empire of Ants, complete document. Have you ever wondered what would happen if human society moved toward a single shared goal? If countries, borders, and political divisions disappeared, and every human became part of one single system where everyone precisely knows their place and task. A world where there is no debate about who does what, because everyone's role is completely clear. A central control that everyone obeys. Billions of people, yet total unity. A system where the individual is not a separate story, but part of a larger whole, and where it is even imaginable that someone would sacrifice their life for the common goal. Many would consider this a utopia, others more like a nightmare. But there is a civilization on Earth that functions exactly like this, and it is not human. The world of ants is one of the oldest and most complex social systems on Earth. Scientists estimate that around 20 quadrillion ants live on the planet, meaning millions exist for every human. Yet, we barely perceive them as individual beings, because they do not function as individual lives, but as colonies, like a single living organism. Ants have existed for more than 100 million years. Their ancestors were solitary, wasp-like insects, but during evolution they gradually developed a group lifestyle, and then a completely new level, the superorganism. This means that the importance of the individual is pushed into the background, and the colony becomes the real living entity. Ants do not have psychology in the sense humans do. There is no ego, no self-reflection, no personal desire or internal conflict. Instead, a highly efficient biological system operates. Chemical signals called pheromones control their behavior. These scent signals determine where they go, what they do, and how they react. An ant alone is a simple organism. It has limited abilities and cannot think in a complex way. But when millions of ants work together, the system shows astonishing intelligence. They optimize routes, organize food, defend themselves, and even wage wars against other colonies. All of this happens without central control. It is as if the colony were a single giant brain distributed across millions of bodies. This system is completely decentralized. There is no leader, no decision-making center. Every ant follows simple rules. It reacts to what it perceives. Yet collective behavior produces intelligent patterns. Decisions are made through pheromones. If more ants travel along a path, the scent trail becomes stronger, so even more ants follow it. This is a kind of chemical voting, where the most used path becomes the correct one. This is how collective decisions emerge without a human leader. The structure of an anthill is not designed either. There is no architect, no blueprint. Every ant follows simple rules. It moves soil, digs tunnels, and reacts to the presence of others. Where there is more activity, even more ants begin working. Gradually, a complex multi-level city emerges, with chambers for larvae, food storage, the queen, and waste. Even ventilation systems form that regulate air and temperature. Members of the colony take on specialized roles. The queen is responsible for reproduction, workers for building and care, soldiers for defense, and scouts for gathering information. There is no choice, no individual decision, yet everything functions perfectly because each individual is biologically programmed for what is needed. Some ant species show even more complex behavior. There are species that practice agriculture. They cultivate fungi, collect leaves as compost, and maintain their own farming systems. Other species wage wars where millions of colonies clash, and in some cases even develop slavery systems, integrating larvae from other colonies into their own system. Thus, the empire of ants is not only a biological phenomenon, but also a functioning social model in which there is no individual, only system. A collective intelligence that can survive, adapt, and expand for more than 100 million years. This raises a deeper question. What happens when the individual completely dissolves into the community? In the world of ants, there is no freedom, no identity, no uncertainty of decision. Instead, there is order, efficiency, and survival. Human society, by contrast, is built on individual consciousness, which gives freedom but also creates chaos. And perhaps this is the most important mirror the world of ants provides. Intelligence does not always lie in individual thinking, but sometimes in perfect cooperation. Another key concept in understanding the world of ants is that the colony is not just an organism, but a continuously learning and adapting system. Although a single ant cannot learn in the human sense, the behavior of the colony still changes over time. If a route becomes dangerous, information disappears in the form of chemical signals, and new routes emerge. If a resource is abundant, the colony quickly reallocates workers. This kind of learning is not conscious, but emergent, meaning it arises automatically from many small behaviors. Interestingly, the ant system does not understand error the way human society does. There is no bad decision by an individual because the individual does not decide. Every behavior is a local reaction, yet the system still produces global optimization. This means the colony as a whole can correct itself in the right direction without anyone being in control. Ant communication also follows a completely different logic than human language. There are no words, no sentences, no symbolic thinking. All information appears in chemical patterns and behavioral reactions. A pheromone trail does not say food is this way, it simply creates attraction or repulsion. This pre-linguistic communication form is in many ways cleaner and faster than human language, because it contains no misunderstanding or lies, only effect. The stability of the ant empire comes from the fact that there is no central point of failure. In human systems, the loss of a leader can cause collapse, but in ants, the queen is not a controller, only a reproductive function. If the colony loses the queen, in many cases it can reorganize or slowly transform. This distributed life makes them extremely resilient. Another important phenomenon in ant collective intelligence is route optimization. If multiple paths lead to a resource, ants initially try them randomly. Over time, however, the fastest and most efficient path develops a stronger pheromone trail, so the entire colony automatically shifts to it. This is a natural algorithm very similar to modern artificial intelligence optimization methods. Ant behavior is particularly interesting to many researchers because they solve problems without central planning. Tunnels, bridges, living chains, resource distribution all emerge spontaneously. If an obstacle must be overcome, such as water, some species form bridges with their own bodies while others cross over them. This is not seen as sacrifice in the system, but simply as function. From this perspective, ants are not a society, but rather a living computational system. Each individual is a simple unit, but together they form a complex problem-solving machine. This machine is not conscious, yet it can survive environmental challenges that would require individual intelligence if solved separately. And perhaps this is why the world of ants raises such strong philosophical questions, because although they seem completely alien to human thinking, they still present a model where life is not about the I, but about the we. A we that is not a choice, but a form of existence itself. This was the Oria document, and I am Claudia Clars. If you enjoyed the episode, feel free to share your thoughts or reflections with us. For more content, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for your attention. We will meet again soon. Until then, I wish you all the best.